Opportunity squandered, and the narrative of not being able to beat a good team is going to unfortunately stick with us after the Week 9 loss in Germany to the Kansas City Chiefs 21-14. Really a tale of two halves. You get down 21-0 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Historically, over the last couple of years, you're going to say this one is over. But we were blessed with opportunities that we're going to talk about. Like I said, tale of two halves. Opportunities squandered in the second half to really come back and win the game, at least force overtime. Like I said, we're going to get to all of that. Ultimately, we end up falling short 21-14. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk top takeaways. Before I jump into that, I want to hear from you. Your thoughts on the Dolphins' 21-14 loss. Go ahead, throw them in the comments. Curious to see how you guys feel about this one, because the first thing I'm going to start with, unfortunately, is that end of the game. We got our hopes up a couple of times, and quite honestly, two possessions at the very end of this game is going to kind of tell the story of what maybe really shouldn't have even been this close of a game, but we're down 7. It's the second to last possession of the game. We're driving in Chiefs territory. We decide to run a toss sweep to Savon Ahmed on the short side of the field. We lose 6 yards. One, I want Devon Achane back. Two, I'm just not a big fan of that play call in general. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. On second down, we take a sack. And the thing I don't like about that is it's 2nd and 16. It's a chance to get close to it's towards the end of the game. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, neither of them are on the field. We get nothing on third down. We punt. You figure you're just like, it's the Chiefs. They're going to bleed the clock. That was our opportunity. But somehow, like I said, we were blessed with a second opportunity. And quite honestly, it was the perfect second chance to tie that game at the end, because we punt. The Chiefs field that punt inside the 10. They field it inside of the 10. It gets down to a 3rd and 1 situation. Offensive line has been getting charged. Isaiah Pacheco has been finishing forward on his runs. They decide not to run it. They throw it, and you could see the replay on the broadcast. Blanket bracket coverage on Travis Kelce. They weren't going to him. And Bradley Chubb, who had a pretty damn nice game as well. The defense had a nice game. We'll talk more about that as well. Gives the pressure on Mahomes. He has to throw it away. We get the ball after they punt. We get blessed with a perfect second opportunity. And the momentum rides from there. We go back-to-back Mostert runs, I think, of 20 plus to really put us in position around that 2-minute warning to really make some noise. But it was shortly after the 2-minute warning when things kind of start to fall apart, because on first down, you get the incomplete pass to Mostert where literally no one was open. Second down, you get, it looked like Jalen Waddle kind of slipped down the route. There's an incomplete pass. And then you get the string of 2 plays back-to-back that this game is unfortunately going to get remembered for. The third down play, based on what all the players and coaches were saying after the game, a miscommunication between Tua Tagovailoa and Cedrick Wilson. Tua kind of threw the ball up like it was going to be like a back shoulder jump ball comeback type of route. Cedrick Wilson was basically running the go. And quite honestly, it looked like Cedrick had the right call based on the coverage. But you know what? If Tua's not on the same page with them, that's obviously not going to work. So that play falls incomplete as the ball lands to nowhere. And then, unfortunately, the play that we knew was going to kill us at some point. We've been talking about it for 2 years. We knew that at some point in time this was going to cost us a game. I don't want to say that particularly cost us a game, but it cost us a chance. And it was the missnap. It's the missnap between Connor Williams and Tua Tagovailoa. And quite honestly, it wasn't the worst of Connor Williams' snaps. When we say he has snap issues, this one wasn't terrible. Tua could have handled it, but at the end of the day, we got a lot of things going on. It's 4th and 10. The game's on the line. The last thing you want is a snap whizzing to your non-dominant hand. I mean, it just kind of went by. We don't get to do anything with it. We continued to find ways in this crucial game to shoot ourselves in the foot. And we're going to talk about more about that in a second. But this was the opportunity to kill that negative talk that you can't beat a good team. Your offense doesn't do well against these good defenses. You're not going to beat a team over a 500 record. Quite honestly, it kind of looks like we overthink things. We overthink things too much. We don't play with the flow. When we were playing games against the Giants and the Panthers and the Broncos, yes, I know I said all those teams under 500. The offense just flows. We've got a game flow. It looks like everything's coming natural and in sync. That was not the case against the Chiefs today. It was penalties, it was drops, it was miscommunications, a lot of things going going against us in this one, which kind of cost us the game, because we obviously can hang with the team like the Chiefs. We just couldn't put it together at the end. It's always these crucial late game executions that we ended up failing. But let's talk about some of those self-inflicted wounds. I got a couple from my notes today. Already on the first offensive drive, Jalen Waddle, story of his season so far, gets rolled up on, gets the knee injury. He comes in and out of that game basically the rest of the game. Shortly after that, Chase Claypool, he fills in for him. He gets a false start call. We allow a sack. We punt. Terrible first drive. Absolutely terrible first drive. Later in the first quarter, we're driving, and then we get a third down completion back shoulder to Jalen Waddle. Gets nullified because two guys were moving at the snap. It was a little bit controversial call, but at the end of the day, the flag is the flag. It takes it away. First drive in the second quarter, Tyreek Hill gets his hands on a ball. It's a drop on a second down play. Would have been a great catch. Quite honestly, that's a ball we see a guy like Tyreek Hill make more often than not. Next play in line, Jeff Wilson drops a third down pass, another punt. Fast forward into the game. We're down 14. We're driving right before half. You know how this one ends. We've got a chance to double dip, meaning we can score. We get the ball back. We got an opportunity to score to start the second half. We could tie the game up at 14 at that point. Nope. We throw a screen pass to Tyreek. He fumbles. Chiefs recover it, pitch it back. The rest is history. We're now down 21-0 instead of potentially cutting it to a one-possession game. Here's the situation on that. I want to give a little bit of thoughts on that play in general, because I don't like to question Mike McDaniel's play calling. We're first in the offense in rushing and passing and total yards. I make videos talking about the Miami Dolphins. I'm not in a position to question a Mike McDaniel play call. But if you think about that, everything we were doing was clicking at that point in time. L'Jarius Sneed had just left the game because of the independent concussion spotter. They're down one of their best secondary guys. We decided to throw a screen pass. And quite honestly, even if Tyreek just catches that and doesn't get any yards on it, doesn't fumble, it's still 3rd and 10. It's still 3rd and long, where we found ourselves all first half. So many things, so many of these self-inflicted wounds just killed us in the first half. We didn't have a single third down conversion in the first half. So like I said, I just didn't like the play call in general. It's a kind of a risky play for probably little reward in that situation. And obviously it wasn't worth it. It just clearly wasn't worth it, because the Kansas City Chiefs didn't score after that. That was it. Defense held them. Let's talk about that, because I labeled this one, the defense provided us chances, and it absolutely did. Let's start with the beginning. We showed no resistance on the first drive. I was like, man, this is that game against the Bills all over again. We're going to get into a shootout. That first drive, just like we did against Philly, they get the ball around the 10-yard line. We draw up a blitz from the 10-yard line. They draw up a screen. Just terrible. Perfect play call for them. Terrible play time for us to call a blitz on that. It goes for a touchdown. That kills us. But after that, we hold them to 3 straight possessions without points, meaning our offense gets 4 drives when they're down 7-0 to either tie it. You got 4 possessions, tie it, take the lead, do something. We don't do anything. The story from that first half is, we were down 21-0, but our defense was playing fine. Our defense was doing a good job. Like I said, the defense allowed 14 points on the game. Obviously, Tyreek and the offense allowed the other 7. But Bradley Chubb, we talked about him. He got the pressure that we had talked about. He had a sack fumble that Zach Sealer recovered, which led to the touchdown that brought us within 7. Our defense was stepping up when we needed to. We held Patrick Mahomes to 185 passing yards. Their ground game to 93 on just 3.9 yards per carry. Travis Kelce, the guy that most teams have an issue with, the one that usually makes the offense go, 3 catches, 14 yards. The defense did its job, and quite honestly, then some. You tell me that we get this defense performance, I tell you that we win, and we probably win by double digits. Frustrating, but yes, that performance alone does give me some hope. Knowing what our defense is capable of, especially now that we have these healthy bodies, first game with X, with Ramsey, with Holland, with all these healthy guys, gives us a kind of a glimpse as to what our defense could be moving forward. But Fangio defense, one of the bright spots from the day. Just very few final game and player notes as we wrap things up here. Very good heads-up play by Chase Claypool. Yeah, he had the false start earlier, but Raheem Mostert, as we're making our comeback attempt, fumbles. Raheem Mostert and fumbles have kind of been a thing as well. Another reason we probably use Devon Achane back. Chase Claypool recovers that ball and gives us a chance. If the Chiefs recover that ball, it's already in Miami territory. The game's probably over at that point in time. So a nice heads up play by Chase Claypool. Like I said, not really not into moral victories for this one. I know we should feel good that we came back and made it a game and it was as close as possible, but it just stings because the opportunities were there. I got a text from one of my buddies right before half, and I think he worded it just perfectly. Basically, in these big games, we play more desperate than confident. And I'm like, yeah, that is exactly how we play. It's like I said, we don't have the offensive flow. We're a little bit jittery up front. The play calls aren't coming in as time. We're not near as crisp. It's almost like you use a basketball analogy. If a shooter's having an off game, you get him to the free throw line. Give him an opportunity to just make one, see it go in, know that you can do it. It's kind of like in these big games, we got to win one. We just got to win one, prove to these guys that we can do it. Right now, it's just we play so timid, we play so jittery that we have the penalties, we have the miscommunication, we have the plays coming in late, we have the bad snaps. Everything like that just keeps stacking on top of each other. You're never going to beat a good team if you keep doing that. So right now, you got to get that confidence back. You got to get one. And like I talked about in the preview video, we got a bye week. It's a good time to get right. But man, we're going to sit on this one now for a while. And then we come back against the Raiders, which good and bad. Good. Hopefully we can be back in Miami and win that one. That'd be crucial. I'm not taking any wins away from us that we can potentially get. But once again, it's going to be a team that has below a 500 record. The narrative's going to stick. So put your thick skin on and just get used to it for a while, Dolphins fans, because it's, like I said, it's not going anywhere for a while. Game ball, not nice performances on defense. A guy like Bradley Chubb or someone would probably be the winner of a game ball, but I'm not going to do an official one for this game. That is what I've got, though, for today, Dolphins fans. I'll be back with some stuff during the bye week. But until then, just try to survive this one out, Dolphins fans. Fins up.